Network Entertainment.
You have to understand, like, they're in a different time zone. Okay, you have to schedule. Like, you really have to compromise some of these things sometimes. But it's not necessarily damaging to the relationship. It's really allowing yourself to know that, this person does not have to be perfect. This person does not have to be in close distance to you to make this relationship work. If you guys are in this relationship together, know that it's a two-way street. The effort that you put in going to visit him, the time, the leaves that you have to file for you to see each other, he's doing the same thing too. There are sacrifices that you both make in order to make this long distance work. So that's why your heart grows bigger, because it really helps expand your capacity to love this person even at a distance.
Hi, this is Mirza Season. Welcome to You Can Do This, a podcast that'll help you achieve your dreams and goals one episode at a time. What are you waiting for? Let's go! Can love really thrive when you're miles apart, navigating time zones and technology gaps? Long-distance relationships, or LDRs, are often seen as challenging, but they can also be a powerful testament to trust, communication, and commitment. Today, we're navigating the intricacies of LDRs with someone with a wealth of experience and expertise. Back on the show is a relationship coach from the Relationship School and host of the 2024 winner of the Philippine Podcast Search, Nuggets of Nikki podcast, which is about having healthy relationships. She previously worked as an editor for Summit Media. Please welcome back Nikki Porter.
Hello.
Hi, Nikki. Welcome back.
Yes, of course. I'm happy to be here.
So, how is your LDR going?
Well, I will say it's going great, which is something that, at first I felt like, okay, how do I feel about answering this question? But because honestly, it is, and I'm not saying, because I don't know, maybe I'll jinx it, but I don't want to believe that I will. Because starting out in a long distance relationship, I didn't think I was going to, what do you call this? I didn't really think that I'm in much better shape than I expected to be in the beginning of this long distance relationship. So I will say it is great with with the good times and also like the hard times that we have, because we really have invested the time to figure that out. And I think it's only made us have a deeper connection to one another. So yeah.
Is this your first LDR?
Yes.
Right.
Successful.
First successful LDR.
Yeah, so it's my first successful long distance relationship, and we've really grown to know each other and to understand each other, and like be more open really in expressing ourselves with one another. So it's really nice, and I feel really grateful to have found someone who wants to go on this journey with me.
Journey talaga. Journey, I love that word.
Yeah.
What went wrong in the other unsuccessful LDRs?
Oh my gosh.
Just as a case study.
Yeah. Well, I think the bottom line is that they just weren't ready for one. But at the same time, I feel like for me, I probably wasn't ready for one either at the time when for those unsuccessful long distance relationships, because and I will say, like, one was there was no clarity on what it was when they left, and then the next two, there were two of them there was no clarity, and then the other two were they changed their minds, which is so frustrating.
Oh,
Because
you
they
mean
said, because they said like, yeah, I can do that, like I can do long distance, and then when it came to the point like a month or 2 months after, they backtrack,
Right.
and they say like, I don't think I can do this.
Okay.
And so it's like it's obviously a disappointment when you hear that, but again, it's not like I try and realize that it's not my fault that they changed their minds. They could have been honest in the beginning,
Right.
diba? So like so for me, I don't really try and see myself as like a victim in that sense,
Right,
because
right.
I've allowed myself to also set those boundaries. Like, okay, understand. I didn't push any further anymore, and I didn't chase them anymore. So if you say you're not ready, Adi, no, no. We
What
keep,
do most couples struggle with? I mean, obviously, let's say there's time zone differences, or what
yes.
else?
Uh, Mostly I think it is, well, it's the time and it's the distance itself, no. So time, for example, me and my partner, we are about 9,000 kilometers away.
And how many hours
Right
difference?
now it's daylight savings for them, so 7 hours,
Okay.
7 hour difference. And um sometimes I think for that that time difference, it's still manageable. There's a lot of people who do time difference like an opposite, literal opposite side of the world, 12 hours apart, and that's much harder to sustain unless you figure out, ways to actually keep each other in the loop throughout the relationship. But yeah, the time is hard because and I've learned this a lot, is that one person will have the benefit of sleeping soundly with 8 hours, and the other will have to sleep late because they're keeping up
So do
like
you
this
rotate?
conversation.
Like this month, you sleep a lot.
No, because the thing is, I when it's 12 midnight here, it's 5 p.m. there. So no matter what, like I'm not gonna be up at 7 a.m. so that he'll stay up until past midnight, diba? So for me, alam ko nalugi ako sa tulog. And I've honestly been working on that talaga. Like I've really been trying to like I need you to help me. I already told him to set an alarm. Set an alarm for
Oh,
like to text me
time block the
to go to
LDR.
go to sleep. As in to remind me to go to
Oh, okay,
sleep. Yeah, yeah,
okay.
yeah. So I just like, and I like, because I really want to get my hours in, and I said set an alarm for 3 p.m. your time, and like make the alarm title remind Nikki to sleep. And so he's been doing that. I've heard this. I'm so stubborn. It's like I'm like, yes, yes, I'm gonna sleep soon. It's like an hour after, 2 hours after. So it can be like it's challenging, but then sometimes you kind of just like get used to it na rin. As for distance, of course it's hard for you to be apart because it's like you don't have that physical closeness as well, and you don't really have a lot of shared experiences together yet. But I think there's also something to be said about the anticipation of seeing each other again, because that is what keeps you going. Like you think your future forward, especially when it comes to LDRs, because you're looking forward to the next time you guys see each
I
other.
know couples who did better doing LDR than when they were actually in the same country already. Because
And
parang fresh lagi when you meet.
yeah, yeah, it really allows you to make your time together a priority. Like
Yeah.
it's extra special when you guys are together. But I also would like to say that make sure you're not necessarily in a bubble, because
It's
being
not reality.
it's not necessary. Well, it is reality, but don't make it like like, for example, you're on a vacation, right?
Yes, yes,
So it's
yes.
different when you guys are going to be in the same place permanently, because ideally that's what's going to happen in a long
Right.
distance relationship. So you have to really make good of that time together, and really knowing like what is it like in a shared space with you, what is it like considering that you do want to do this long term, and you want to do the relationship long term, not the long distance long term. But also understanding like is this person really how is this person trying to make me a part of their lives? How am I being included in it? And vice versa also. So it's almost like I think when you're doing long distance relationship, it allows you to cohabitate with them because I mean some like here in the Philippines sometimes it's to look down on like you cohabitating with a partner if you're not married yet. When you're in a long distance relationship, you kind of have no choice but to live in one hotel room wherever it is you guys are
Right,
visiting.
right, right.
And yes, maybe like there is that notion of people saying like, oh my gosh, you guys aren't even married yet, and you guys are like, you're staying in his place, you're staying in her place. And
That's my reaction.
but I think if you guys are aligned in where you in the direction and the trajectory of that relationship, these this is like a the first thing comes to mind is like it's a test kitchen
Yes.
for you to figure out like how you guys are going to adapt to each other's personal space, how
Right.
you integrate into each other's personal space as well. So yeah, make use of it in that sense, and so that you have a better understanding and you have, you know each other's boundaries in that sense.
Okay, let's talk about trust.
Trust
Trust.
in long distance.
Yes.
So apparently, I saw that 85% of people of couples in long distance relationship, they do believe that trust is crucial in the foundation of that kind of relationship. Considering you guys don't see each other often, you can't make plans to go on regular dates and all those things. It's obviously very hard to do, and like on a personal note, I never felt that with my partner. I never felt, not the trust, I mean,
Right, right.
I do trust my partner. I never felt that
He wasn't to be
he
trusted.
wasn't to be trusted. There we go.
Right.
And the reason being is just like, I just felt like this there's a level of safety that I
Right.
never really felt with anybody else. And again, it comes to that level of communication you have with each other, and him and us having that understanding that we both trust each other in wanting, because if you both want something like that's long term, you both want to close that gap in the future, then why would you do something that would impede that,
Right.
that would prevent that from happening? So so it's really like, and for him, he's very nonsensical. It's like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, some people, I didn't know people were like that, but for
Which doesn't make sense.
like, it doesn't make sense. Like, why I would be like unfaithful or something.
Oh, okay.
Because it's like I like he always says that he loves me more. And I was like, okay, I'm not gonna argue. and whenever, like, he really makes his presence known. He really makes the effort in getting to know me and in understanding where I'm at, and doesn't hold that against me really. And so like that trust eventually over time, it just, it's something that you obviously build. And I think with that trust, or before you actually get to that level of trust, is that they create this space of safety around you, so that this is something that you would like to pursue. And that's something that I've observed with him. And I know it's a personal thing, but I think you also have to be secure in yourself in knowing, because sometimes if you have trust issues and you're going to do a long distance relationship, or not, even if you're geographically close, if you say that you have trust issues in your partner, more than likely you're just projecting that you don't trust yourself in this kind of relationship. Not that you're going to cheat or anything, but it's kind of like you not making the right decision when it comes to the relationship. So
Don't do LDR if there are trust issues.
it'll be really hard, because you're going to get more anxious, and that way you're going to
Right.
You might be more reactive. I would suggest that you are self-aware in these things and what you are.
Inner work na naman.
Yeah, it really boils down to inner work, knowing what your insecurities are, because again, you're not going to see this person every week, right? You're not going to be able to make plans with this person. You're going to wonder what it is that you what they're doing, which is why it's important to keep each other in the loop. And I don't say na parang I'm not saying like to keep tabs when we keep each other in the loop. Like I say, oh, I'm on my way to work. Like, I'm gonna go home now. I'm going to the gym or something. So at least they know where I am.
Yeah.
And then for me, that's kind of it. It gives me security in knowing where he is, because he bikes. He only bikes wherever he's gonna go.
Right.
So for me, I'm like, obviously with the biking culture
yeah.
here, especially biking in Manila, it's like
Right.
it's not the same, but it's like, I have that level of anxiety. I'm like,
Yeah.
I always tell them bike safely, bike safely. Even if the rules are so much better.
I have a friend who was in an LDR.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually, after many years, she noticed every time the guy would take a call to talk to her, he was in the garden.
Oh.
Never like in the kitchen or in his room.
Huh. Interesting.
Laging lumalabas sa garden.
Better signal.
I don't know. What
No, the Wi-Fi should be inside,
So,
though.
parang,
Yeah.
so she never saw like,
The inside.
yeah. So
Are they
I
still
think
together?
she now suspects that he's married.
Oh my god.
Still.
That's
Because parang dapat magdi-divorce na or nag-divorce na or something. But I think it was like a definite sus situation.
Yes. That, I mean, obviously that's unfortunate that sometimes that happens, but it's really like, it's hard. No, it's hard for you to know like what kind of person they are.
Right,
diba?
right.
So that's why I always, like, as much as possible, see each other in person, really get to know each other.
Right.
And not just, and actually see each other like in the place where they're living. If he's going to suggest that you stay in a hotel and then he has a place pala, parang, why?
Right.
Why is that? Why are you hiding me?
It's giving side hustle.
Exactly. You're the side hustle. So yeah.
Okay.
Like just be on the lookout, but also don't be like, take off the rose tinted glasses also when it comes to that kind of LDR. Like, if you want, address it as well. Again, this is like a point of being transparent in the relationship. I notice you don't take your calls inside the house. Like, is there is it under construction? Like, what's going on? Like, just like lead with that kind of curiosity for real, because it's really like, if it really puts them at the edge of their seat, then of course it's better to know
Right.
that, how long can they keep this facade up?
Yes,
Really.
yes. Okay, let's talk about conflicts. Like, mahirap mag-away online, di ba?
Yep.
Like, nung panahon ko na long distance calls, parang
isa
you
pa
can't
yun.
really fight for hours because it's gonna be expensive. di
Yeah,
ba? So
absolutely.
how do you navigate?
Well, the good thing about long distance dating now, for one thing, it's actually prevalent. Like, long distance dating is more popular now because of the internet, because we're so much more
Right.
connected now. We're allowed to meet people from other geographic locations. Whether it ends up in a long distance relationship is definitely up to you and them. But when it comes to conflict, it's definitely challenging because, for example, with my relationship, sometimes there's something that upsets me, but it's like 10 o'clock at night na. And like, I'm honestly like so tired that I don't
Wag na lang, never
I
mind.
don't want to bring it up. But then it's like, I'll bring it up another time. Like I didn't like what you said the other day, and then sometimes, like, what I'm trying to help him learn now is like, the concept of validation, which a lot of guys don't really know how to do, because they don't really know how to follow up with like what a woman's issue would be. When they say a problem, most likely men are going to come up with a solution before
Yes.
actually asking you like,
Yeah,
how do you
that's
feel
me.
about that?
That's me.
And so it's really and so it can be challenging that you just want to be validated, like this is what you're feeling before actually coming up with any
What's that? Do
solution.
you want to be heard, helped, or hugged?
Yes, yes. Like it's comfort or solutions, diba? So for the conflicts that we have in our relationship, I'll sometimes I either bring it up during the video call or I'll bring it up through text.
I
But
sent you a PDF.
no, man, it's not like a PDF. But then sometimes if it's not clicking, or sometimes like again the validation's not there, or there's defensiveness in what I'm bringing up, and usually it's the women the one bringing up stuff, right? I like it's met with either of those things, invalidation or defensiveness. Like I need to take a moment because I'm gonna start getting upset na rin. Like it's gonna get me riled up. So I tell him like I feel like we need to talk about this at a later time, or when you're available. Like let me know when you're available. And so scheduling those hard conversations via video call, I think is so important. Through text kasi it's like, yeah, you can like for maybe petty stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
But then for the seriously, like, something that you guys not necessarily gravely impacting the relationship, but it is integral to knowing how you guys are going to be with regard to this subject. I would always suggest to have this through video call. And so sometimes you will have to compromise again with the time. So for me, like we would have, if I knew there was going to be a hard conversation at midnight, nap ako. I'll take a nap and I'll be ready.
Me disco nap.
Yeah, no, for real, because it's like I don't want to be like half awake when it's going to happen.
Right.
Also, I want to be at least like I know what it is that I want to address, and I'm not in that state where I am cranky already. So like there's some preparation that I can, and you guys can probably do that with like time difference, right? If you have time to take a power nap, do it.
And then turn on the transcription mode of Zoom. Para pag sinabi niya, I never said it, I have the transcript.
I have literal receipts of when it happened. But yeah, so hard conversations, don't avoid it, but definitely talk about it through video calls. And yeah, that's the only way. It's the same way when you're geographically close to one another. Better to have those conversations in person. But since we can't do that in person in LDR, at least face
Right.
to face, like real time talaga, that you guys are addressing it. So yeah, and that has really helped. And like us being patient with one another, because sometimes again, sometimes we're not on the same page. Like I don't understand what you're saying when I'm trying to address things. And I will admit sometimes the things I try to say when I am upset, sometimes I feel like I'm rambling. Like it helps me, like him saying that I don't understand what you're saying, like helps me like, okay, how do I say this simply? Because there's just so many thoughts running in my head. So it just helps me say it a little bit more clearly. And yeah, we've constantly worked through that na rin. And so now he's more receptive in how to communicate better. And I am trying to learn how to communicate better as well. Because once again, he is also mirroring some parts that I still need to work on. And so we both try and get better at it. Not every conflict, literally like every day.
Okay, other tips that you have, other tips you can give based on what you have encountered about LDRs and resolved.
Yeah.
So we have trust, communication. What else?
I would say so. A few of the tips I've already mentioned was keep each other in the loop. whether
Yes.
it's mundane or
Yes.
like if you see it, like he always sends me pictures of the sunset, which is always nice because it's like, he's right by the water kasi. So it's like
Right.
it's really
And you
picturesque.
send him pictures of EDSA
I sent
at
him
rush
pictures
hour.
of me. I am the view. No, I mean I'll send him pictures of like random stuff. Yeah, it can be like some things like that I just see like on the road or whatever. So because doing that like allows you
Share your
guys, yeah, to
lives.
share your lives and to still be in each other's
Right,
lives
right, right.
in that way. So if you're in a cafe, he'll send me like a photo of the pastries because he knows I bake.
So what is not, if you say nothing is too mundane?
Nothing is too mundane. Yeah, like
I just woke up, I'm gonna eat, I'm eating.
yeah, like what are you having for breakfast? Oh, diba? So it's like, even if it's repetitive, oh, it's just porridge or like something. Yeah, and then like sometimes I know, like I know that he enjoys me sending photos of my food, but for me, kasi I just really like scarfing down my food immediately, so I forget, and so he reminds me like, don't forget to send a picture. I'm like, okay. All right.
Okay,
Because you
what
like it.
else?
Yeah, so keep each other in the loop, whether it be boring or mundane or uninteresting. If you think that, it would get a reaction out of them, send them. Don't be afraid to send in like thirst traps in there as
Okay.
well, of course.
Oh, okay. We forgot to tackle that.
Real, because there's no physical closeness, right?
Yes.
So it's like, and it doesn't just have to be in photos. I don't have to tell you what those photos have to include. I don't have to tell you what
Yes.
those videos have to include as well. However you want to tackle your physical intimacy remotely is entirely up to you. You have to, like, it's a way for you to still stay close to one another in that sense and be intimate if you want, because in some way it'll still you will still anticipate for when it finally happens, when you guys see each other again,
Yeah.
right?
So it's
Also,
important to make time for that and include that aspect, the intimacy.
yeah, yeah.
Just be creative.
Yeah. And again, but if you're not comfortable, like, doing like a video kind of intimate live situation, that's okay too. Because like,
Audio na.
oh, pwede din. Like, it's like whatever scratches that itch.
Okay.
Yeah, like make it work.
Yes.
Like for us, like we've gotten like goofier than na parang. So it's like even like in video calls, even if it's not even if it's just like a regular conversation. For example, if he walks to the camera with lash and shirt, and I was like, oh, hold on. Like, because really, it's like, give me a flex. Like you really just have to, like be each other's cheerleaders.
Right,
like, oh,
right,
okay, I see you, but I see you've been working out. Like, so and that's actually an aspect I didn't know I needed, but I thoroughly like enjoy about the relationship. Na like we just really can be just like really goofy with each other, and we can be so supportive of one another, and what do you call this? Really be each other's hype man, hype woman with whatever it is, even if it's the body. The body is bodying. Don't be afraid to show it and say it. So yeah, so keep each other in the loop, and then also schedule, right? Schedule your video calls, especially when it comes to hard conversations. That's very important. Find activities in which you can do remotely also. So there's like how my partner and I cope is through watching movies or series together, or even playing video games. So where like I'm not much of a gamer, but then Stardew Valley is such a great pace and it's not demanding at all, that because we have our own farm and we're like, okay, I'm gonna go buy seeds. I'm gonna go to the mines. Gonna
Okay.
like it's really because it makes you feel like you're in that same place, right? You're in a virtual place together, and what do you call this? And then also another shared activity that we do, which I absolutely love, is that I influenced him into baking. Yeah.
Oh.
Like that's the biggest thing.
So, ano
Yeah.
kaya? Simultaneous baking.
Yeah. You know, when simultaneous, like he'll ask me like tips because now he's like obsessed with making his own pizzas. Yeah, so it's like I'm always like giving suggestions or him making like a bowl like a round
Oh.
bread. Like it's like, why is it not springing like in the oven? I'm
Okay.
like, it's probably
So
the
have
heat. So
like
I
a
was like,
common interest you can both
yes, and
participate
I
in.
did not expect that to happen at all. But I love seeing him like just obsessed with it na rin. So now I have an assistant for for my baking. And I'm just,
I love Scandinavian breads.
it is
I
really
see a
good
Swedish
though.
bakery in the making.
We will see. I actually do like want to learn how to making cardamom buns and all their other
Those
pastries.
brown corkboard like breads are
Is
so
that like
yummy.
rye bread, yung flat? Ah, the flat bread. Yeah,
They
yeah,
have all
yeah.
kinds
Yeah.
of very
I love
dark
that
brown
too
breads.
because it's healthy.
Okay. Back to the topic.
Yeah,
Okay, what
and
else?
then what else? Make plans to see each other because again, when you're in an LDR, you're always future forward. You're always thinking about when to see each other next. So maybe in a year, like think about like at the start of a year, think about like how often you can see each other or like when he's gonna come visit. A few months after that, you can go and visit. So from there, you can also, gather your savings. Up until that point, you need to buy a ticket, how long you need to save up, and apply for a visa as a weak passport holder. And then, yeah, and really just so that you can spend more time together. And ultimately, the last tip is to make a plan or have constant conversations on when to close that gap permanently. Because again, long distance should not be a permanent condition of the relationship. It's just, it is the current arrangement for the permanent shared space eventually that you'll have in the future. So yeah, you'll always have that so that you're also clear, right? Who's going to move, diba? Because both of you have careers. Maybe you want to pursue your career like in the Philippines, and so you're not ready to move yet. So be transparent and saying like, I'm waiting for this promotion to happen. I do want to give it a couple more years. And so I want to know like how you feel about that, Naren. So like really have that conversation. So there's clarity in knowing that by X number of years, you guys are permanently like together
And you have to be on the same page.
and have to be on the same page in that. So it's like no, so you don't resent each other.
Right.
Like you told me to leave my country, diba? So yeah.
I gave everything up for you.
Yeah. So and you don't want to have that kind of resentment or conversation therein with your partner because again, you have invested so much money into this relationship
And time and sleep.
Yeah. So it's
And
very
lack of sleep.
easy. It's very easy for you to hold it against them. So again, that having those kinds of hard conversations, closing that gap, knowing when, having that clarity and transparency ultimately will help you figure out like, when this long distance will end and your geographically close relationship finally begins.
May katapusan.
Yeah. For a new beginning in a relationship.
But are there like, I guess case to case basis? How long is too long, or
It is
it really
case to,
depends?
yeah, it really is case to case because like I said, like if there are some things that are holding you back from moving to another country, then that will take some time. But you just, that patience is really critical when it comes to, knowing that you're going to have to wait.
Right.
As it, like, even in like, visiting each other, right?
What are the upsides? Like, I can imagine you can focus on your career more.
Yeah, not just career, like
Or-
anything else that interests you. You have that sense of autonomy when you're in a long distance relationship because when you are, physically close to one another, you're kind of like you have to kind of make them a part of like, come with me to this, come with me to that, let's go and try this, which is not necessarily a bad thing. But then like you have a say in the long, and like if you're in a long distance relationship that you want to try this particular activity that you probably know and you're okay with it, your partner doesn't particularly enjoy, you can enjoy it on your own, that's fine.
Right, right.
We can try it once, sure, but then eventually, like if it's something that you still want to pursue, by all means, like if it makes you happy, but because that just multiplies when you guys get together again, right? When you feel fulfilled and then your partner feels fulfilled in what it is that they do, when you guys finally come together and meet up again, it's like you have so much experience and so much, so much to tell each other.
Right. You don't
And
build your world around each other because
yeah,
you have other stuff going on.
yeah.
You can
So
see your friends.
yeah, and there's you can still have that personal development and arc in order for you to have a more fulfilling life. You can have a fulfilling life apart and make it even more fulfilling together.
Could a good way to reframe it be you have the best of both worlds, like all the advantages of being single, but you have a special someone.
Right. I mean, with certain parameters of being
Right.
single in
Right,
the
right, right.
location, right? You're not going to be seeing anybody else,
Yes,
but you
yes,
are
yes.
allowed to continue hobbies that you enjoy,
Right.
to go and meet up with your friends, stay and hang out with your family. You can still have a well-rounded life even when you guys are together and apart at the same time.
Okay, and now, da-da-da-dun. What's the most important thing they should remember when it comes to LDRs?
I would say that that concept of distance makes the heart grow fonder can be actually a bit of a warning sign.
Oh,
Okay, that's not even the maximum I'm getting at yet, but this is the context. The reason why it's absence makes the reason why I find that sketchy is because when the longer you guys are apart, especially let's say you started off as long distance and haven't met each other,
oh,
you build because again you can meet these
right,
people
right.
online and then it's going to be a long wait until you guys meet each other. When you have that distance in the beginning and it doesn't like it may feel like the heart grows fonder, but the reason why it grows fonder because the heart is also creating these fantasies about the person because you haven't met them in person, which is why I always strongly suggest that if you are pursuing a long distance relationship with this person, meet each other as soon as you possibly can so that you don't build on this fantasy and expectation of someone when you meet them and then be disappointed because of what you've thought of before meeting them. And that's what I also insisted in my relationship because it's like I
How
don't
long before you met him?
it actually did not take long. It was about how long was it? 2 months.
Okay.
Yeah, it was 2 months since we started talking, that he decided to come here and visit. It was either that kasi or August. And so I told him, like, I understand like you have more time in August, but at the same time I don't want us to wait that long because I feel like I don't want us to have so much expectations of one another that we'll just be disappointed when we meet each other. I'd rather meet each other and get to know one another now so that we can quash those
Right.
fantasies and really just see each other
So the
for
sooner
who we
the
are.
better,
The
talaga.
sooner the better, absolutely. So what I'm going to correct with absence makes the heart grow fonder is a long distance makes the heart grow bigger because you really don't know the capacity of like how you can accommodate someone's like someone's quirks or someone's behavior and like trusting somebody, like that capacity really expands when you're an LDR. Like you have to understand, like they're in a different time zone. Okay, you have to schedule. Like you really have to compromise some of these things sometimes, and but it's not necessarily damaging to the relationship. It's really allowing yourself to know that this person does not have to be perfect. This person does not have to be in close distance to you to make this relationship work. If you guys are in this relationship together, know that it's a two-way street. The effort that you put in going to visit him, the time, the leaves that you have to file for you to see each other, he's doing the same thing too, depending, I guess, right, for like what they're doing for work. But there are sacrifices that you both make in order to make this long distance work. So that's why your heart grows fonder. You have this, your heart grows bigger because it really helps expand your capacity to love this person even at a distance. In which case, like the distance, sometimes you don't even feel it sometimes. So,
Wow.
period.
Thank you for that. So much hope and optimism and a reality check for those in LDRs.
Yes, yes. And so I get the notion that people will say, oh, long distance doesn't work. Long distance is not a relationship. I would like to say it's not for the faint of heart. It's really not.
It's for the big of heart.
It's for the big of heart. Absolutely. No, and also it's something that you have to understand. You have to know what you're getting yourself into, what it takes to sustain a long distance relationship. Because again, there are sacrifices, there are compromises to be made, especially in this kind of relationship. And you just have to be patient for real.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mirza. And I'm glad we were able to discuss
Another,
this.
what do you call a pack of nuggets?
A 10-pack.
Another
A bucket.
bucket of nuggets from Nikki Porter, relationship coach. Tell our listeners where to find you.
Yes. So you can find me on Instagram at Nuggets of Nikki, and it's also on TikTok, but it's fairly new. So you can message me there, and also you can message me on my personal account. That's at Nikki Porter with 3 R's at the end, Nikki, by the way. So yeah,
if you need relationship coaching
or long distance tips, I guess.
Yes, and listen to Nuggets of Nikki.
Yes, it's on Spotify as well.
From the Pod Network.
Yes, exactly.
And plug the hot tub.
Oh, yes, right. So if you guys are, I did mention I am a baker.
Baking.
As a side hustle. And I do, I show up. I'm at Salcedo Market every Saturday. Inside the park, I own Hata Bakery. I sell cookies and bagels, and hopefully I'm planning to expand the menu a bit more. But if those sound like right up your alley,
said to be the best bagels in town, right?
I mean,
according
I have
some
regulars.
aficionados.
Yeah, and a lot of my regulars are those who are from the States who enjoy having bagels, or even like Filipinos who live in the States as well, and they're staying here and they want a bagel. They know where to go. So now you know where to go.
That's it for today. Thanks, Nikki.
Thank you so much, Mirza.
All right. Bye. Thank you for listening to You Can Do This. If you want to know more about me, visit mirza.com. That's MYRZA.com. And follow me at Mirza Season on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, and LinkedIn. If you like this episode, please don't forget to rate it 5 stars. Hit the follow button on your podcast streaming platforms and hit the notification bell to get alerted every time we release a new episode. Catch you at our next convo, and always remember, you can do this.
The opinions of podcast creators, hosts, and guests are not necessarily reflective of the official stance of the Pod Network Entertainment, its hosts, or other network programs. The content created by the people behind the podcast is personal and not meant to harm any religion, ethnicity, group, organization, company, or individual.